He's like a fumbling teenager trying to hit the button and make her happy, and he's missing it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Gunn stream. We're talking about some nerd-related stuff, and Brockus, who is running the show, has run away. I assume for coffee, or some painkillers or something. I don't know. He's in a lot of pain. His shoulder's killing him. But today we got Red Robot, and hopefully a few other people will be dropping in soon. Because without Schmeckel, you leave the nerds alone. They're going to talk nerd shit. And this time around, we're talking about... well, we have a couple different things to talk about, but we're going to ease into the main one, and we're going to sideline back into some more She-Ra nonsense because we just have to keep venting about that. On the plus side, with the internet talking about She-Ra, we've all seemed to conveniently forgot about the Thundercats debacle. But that's still a thing, guys.
We've been lubed and primed for yet another butt fucking of our childhood.
Apparently so. But Red, what were you going to say about She-Ra?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so this is the thing that I told Ranting Feminist on Twitter, and I'm probably going to get blocked for it. But fuck her. You can't trade on the nostalgia value of a property, and yet betray it, and then basically you can't trade on the nostalgia value of a property, and then tell fans of the original that they're not allowed to bitch about what you've done with it. You can't have your cake and butt fuck it too. You just can't do it.
Wait.
And as my roommate said, it is a bait and switch. It's basically trying to hook interest based on the property, but do something completely different with it. Like, look, motherfucker, if this twink little carpet munching lesbian wanted to do her boyish superhero show, fuck it, it could be done. Rebecca, goddamn, I don't know what my gender is, Sugar did it, and is incredibly successful. This little twit, I've seen one of the comics she writes. I swear to God, the protagonist is this fat little Tumblr muffin that I was 3 pages into this shit and going, oh God. If she wanted to do this crap with the gender ambiguous female superhero, she could have just got her own fucking show. But no, some dumb fuck somewhere decided, yeah, let's give this little nitwit She-Ra and give her no goddamn oversight.
Yeah. First of all, I have to address something you said earlier. One, why did I come into the part where you were basically saying you can't have your cake and butt fuck it too?
Because that's what I told Ranting Feminist on Twitter.
No, fair enough. But now I have the question of, well, what if you butt fuck the cake into the person?
That's having your cake but not eating it because you've just
your ass is eating it.
Wow, I mean
that is what that term is.
This is a South Park where you can eat things in reverse. It doesn't work that way. Although if it's chocolate cake, interesting mistakes may happen.
Sorry, guys, I couldn't hold it.
That's what she said.
Darnell is back. Fucking cunt. Where were we going? We were bitching about She-Ra there for a little bit before we get into our main topic.
Now, how about? I did want to come to the general defense of reboots because some of them sometimes they're good. Like the Voltron one, it has issues, but it's actually pretty good. The one on Netflix, it's decent.
I think with the Voltron one, they didn't change the art style to some cutesy wootsy Tumblr-ish kind of thing. It's more anime-esque, yes,
yeah,
but they still kept it into an action-oriented art style. It's
They did do a few they did do a few social justice things to it that were really, really painful, but the delivery was okay. For instance, Princess Allura is this giant ass brown chick where before she was a petite blonde, and then Pidge, the smartest little guy on the team is suddenly a girl who is very tomboyish. And you know what? The delivery of it was fine. That's the thing. It's part of it is the way it's done. If you want to change the representation of the team, fine. And even like Lance is Cuban now for some reason. Everybody's a little browner except for like a couple of the characters. No, I'm serious. I mean, I think consider that the original source material was Japanese. So technically all of them were Asian except for Allura, who was clearly American because she was blonde and had blue eyes. Sorry.
I'm actually starting to think that one of the people, the head writers or creators or whatever, has a thing for brown people, because this is the same team that did Korra, the Last Airbender.
Oh God, no.
And
no.
yeah, it's the same people that. But
no, of course it is. It's fine. Yeah, that's fucking. Give us more bullshit. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, they ringed in the bullshit when they made Voltron. That's why it was good. They didn't. They didn't.
I have a question.
Yeah.
There were like 3 different fucking Voltron titles coming out around the same goddamn time that I had noticed. Is this the Netflix one you're talking about?
The Netflix one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
My wife and I have been watching it the entire run, and every time, because I had to talk her into watching it, because she feels about that show the same way I kind of felt about My Little Pony. So we kind of I had to do a swap side and said, just trust me, let's try it. Because I had gotten her to watch Transformers Prime. So she was, no pun intended, primed to watch a robot show with me. She's like, okay, we'll give it a try. Because we really enjoyed Transformers Prime. And she could not, despite her love for me, she doesn't really give a shit about the Transformers property in general. She doesn't care. She's completely indifferent to it. But we watched Transformers Prime, and that was fucking awesome. So we watched Voltron, and I didn't have really high expectations because, to be honest with you, the original Voltron show, the Japanese version, is kind of badass. If you've seen any like just direct subtitles of the old shows, there's some death and killing going on from the very first episode. It's pretty brutal, but it was very formulaic. Let's be honest; it's a Monster of the Week show. It's a Sentai show. That's just the way they work. Well, the new one. Only brings the giant monster usually once a season. The seasons are really short, so that's more often than it sounds like, but they don't do it too often.
Well, the other thing about Voltron that people tend to not realize or remember, Princess Allura and Pidge are the only 2 pilots of Voltron that actually were not originally from Earth, seeing as how Princess Allura is literally from Eris, and they are the defenders of Eris. On top of that, Pidge is actually from a completely different planet. I think it's a colonized planet of Earthlings, which is why he's still a human. Yeah, but he's not originally from Earth. Yeah. But Lance, oh my God, I'm forgetting their fucking names.
That's okay. Yeah, I remember. At this point, I remember the remake better than I do the original because I saw the original when I was a teenager. I think and it was like on rebroadcast. I remember Battle of the Planets better than I do Voltron, okay?
Fair enough. Black Lion pilot, Red Lion pilot, and original Blue Lion pilot. Sven, that was his fucking name, Sven Hosen. They were actually they were all 3 the Japanese guys from Earth, even though their names weren't exactly Japanese, because Sven was literally a combination of, I think, Korean and Scandinavian. And I was just like, okay, that's a weird fucking name to have, but sure, that happens.
Yeah, well, once we get into space travel and all that, because I mean, you've got I don't want to talk about how many like Jane Trangs I know. Okay,
Keith, god damn it, that's Keith is his fucking name, and Hunk. I forgot about Hunk. Hunk is also from Earth. So Hunk, Keith, Sven, Lance, they were all from Earth. Pidge was the only one who was human, who was not from Earth. Allura is technically human, but she's from Eris, all that stuff. And when I saw the pilot episode, the very long, because it's 2 episodes in one, and I think maybe 1 episode after that, I did watch the first couple of episodes of Voltron, the new one from Netflix and everything, and I have to say it wasn't bad, and I actually liked the aesthetics of the fact that the people from Allura's planet look different. They have pointy ears. They have a different skin tone. I like that. It gives the appeal of they're alien to these people.
Yeah,
clearly.
They're space elves.
If you put your dick in this, it's not going to look the exact same way you normally would have. Like, maybe you're thinking, okay, so we're all Asian. It's going to come out looking like an Asian, or we're white. It's going to come out looking white. No, if you put your dick in this one, you're going to think, how big are the ears and pointy are they going to be? What skin tone is this one going to have? Is it going to have that pink hair?
But the reboot, like I was saying, it did have some SJW-isms. Like they turned Allura from a blonde chick into a tall brown chick. And you've got Pidge got turned into a girl, but most of and Lance is Cuban, and Hunk is I don't know what the fuck. But you know, most of that I didn't really give a shit. It was fine because it didn't feel like they were trying to flag wave it at us. You know what I mean?
Lance was always Cuban, actually. Even in the original, Lance was actually supposed to be Hispanic. In some
really?
way.
I did not know that. I didn't get that from the original show, but translation was really fucked up. I'm hoping. I keep thinking this has been so successful when they're like headed back to Earth. I'm hoping they get Earth its own Voltron team, and while the big vehicle Voltron would be a hot mess, and I don't recommend it. Does anyone else remember the 3 robot Voltron?
Yeah, don't do it.
Because I had that toy, man.
Don't do it.
Come on.
It's a terrible idea. Don't do it.
I was also surprised because of the SJW climate that we're in. That what was it, Princess Allura? She actually had like a pink outfit. So I'm like that. Like pink is a dangerous color to wear right now because it's too feminine. But she actually gets to wear it. And like Jesus Christ, they let the woman be a woman.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Well, yeah, they do occasionally let Allura be female once in a while, and they don't really do that for Pidge much at all. But but it's.
Well,
I mean, it's not that big a deal.
Well, the thing is with Pidge is that she came into the team pretending to be her brother.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. And so it made sense that the only thing that she brought was her brother's clothes.
Yeah, but I mean, after that characterization down the road, they never really got into it much, and I'm beginning to hate Lance, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, it would be nice if they had some. It would be nice if they had some character development and said, "Well, look, all right, everyone knows I'm a girl. Maybe I can finally start doing girl things."
Oh Christ! Is this Voltron series slowly turning into the trash fire that is Darling in the Franxx?
No, it's still pretty good. I mean, I complain about it, but I am literally chomping at the bit for next season. So let me clarify. I am bitching about little bits of it, but this show is so damn good. It gives me a chubby, and it's not just because my wife is snuggled up next to me while I'm watching it. Okay.
Well, I'm hearing character development problems, and that's one of my biggest problems with Darling in the Franxx.
Well, the problem with it is that the seasons are, as I mentioned, they're very short. They don't have a lot of time for character development, but they do it. In fact, they often have character development in lieu of. Well, to be frank, it's a giant robot show where there should be action and combat, and there's really not as much as you would expect. So they decided, I think, for the most part, rightly, to sacrifice time of fights for character development. Just sometimes the character development they do, I don't enjoy. Like the last season's development bit with Lance, I really don't like him because they can't decide if they're going to develop him or keep him as the dumb guy on the team. So,
right,
that indecision is my only real complaint. But they're doing something with it at least.
I think also the other thing to keep in mind is that this is the first time this particular team has done something for Netflix for this amount of time, and they have a very short schedule to get things made. I imagine the action takes up a little too much time, and more character development and conversation takes up less animation. It's probably a budget thing, which it's always unfortunate when that's the issue because it tends to ruin a lot of shows, unless you can get work around it in a creative manner.
Yeah, it still has more combat than your average season of Battlestar Craptastica, so I'm still happy.
You know what actually was a half decent continuation when it came to old cartoons and stuff? The continuation of Voltron. I don't know if you guys ever actually watched it.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I've never seen it.
So they only had one season, sadly, and how it ended was so fucking interesting. I've got to say, I was really I really wanted a second season, but the ratings were so bad that it wasn't going to get a second season. Anyways, so Voltron Force has officially retired due to some sort of intergalactic bill that basically said because there is peace in the galaxy and the evil empire has disappeared, there's no need for the Voltron Force anymore. Hence, you guys are all forced into retirement. They all eventually go off and do their own thing, except Keith, who stays behind on Eris to be a personal bodyguard for Allura and a bunch of other stuff. Eventually, though, 3 new teenagers who are training to become what would, I guess, be considered like future possible Voltron Force replacements They're in some kind of special academy or special school or something like that for that exact purpose. There are two guys who are huge fans of Voltron, and they're big nerds. There's the black guy who's really fucking smart, and then there's the adventurous white dude who's always getting him in fucking trouble. And then there's a random blonde chick who's a member of their team. It turns out she's actually Allura's younger sister, and she's a part of this particular academy because she wants to actually follow in her sister's footsteps, but more the warrior's path than the princess path, because Allura's queen and all that stuff. It continues on from there, and throughout the show, you legitimately see Lance, Hunk, Pidge, and Keith taking on the roles as mentors, along with Allura, of course, being the older sister, as the older sister roles. And through the show, you actually see the reasons why Keith looks to the main male lead as his possible replacement because of the way he actually does act, how he commands people on the field, all that stuff. Pidge chooses the black kid who's really, really fucking smart to be his replacement. And the reason why they've done this is because Keith and Allura are legitimately close to getting married in story. And Keith needs to take on a more leadership role as a general and the head of the army. And Allura has to take position as queen, so she can't be a member of Voltron Force. So the blue, green, and black lions are literally about to get new fucking pilots. Here's the twist, though. It ends because the kid who's supposed to get the black lion, he ends up getting infected by some kind of crazy psycho gene that actually starts to turn him into one of the evil empire's fucking underlings or some shit like that. And for a while, it actually was working. He actually became stronger, faster, and more vicious and savage than people were expecting. And with this like crazy stuff going through his system, he became a formidable force in his own version of the evil empire's fucking Voltron as a single pilot and shit. He was just like fucking monstrous to them. And it was mainly because of all the training that Keith gave him, blah, blah, all that shit, whatever, plus the serum. And it turned him psycho, but they eventually cured it. Well, it ends because he's allowed to jump into Voltron, but the Black Lion, at least. And as he is running around, just kind of like, getting his practice in, he's like, yeah, I get to be behind the fucking sticks again. All of a sudden, you hear this monstrous scream. And everybody's like, what is that? And then it like somebody points out that it's actually coming from the lion, but it's not the lion itself. It's a roar coming from within the lion. Camera zooms in. The kid's eyes are glowing just like they did when he was fucking mind controlled and shit. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. He's about to steal that thing. And then they never got a second season. I'm like, shit, that was actually good. I gotta admit, the CG takes you out of the show a bit because it's really shitty, but god damn it, that was actually a decent fucking story.
It'll happen. I remember the CG show. It was really, really bad. But then again, that's when I was like spoiled by things like Reboot and things of the like.
Oh, this was better than Reboot, but yeah, it's still bad CG.
No, it was not. You shut your whore mouth.
No, I'm sorry. Reboot may have been pure CGI, but when you actually see the lions in action in the stuff I'm talking about, you would see it and go, "Nah, yeah, this is better than Reboot."
All right, look, maybe I'm looking through rose-tinted glasses, or maybe it's because I'm thinking exclusively of season 3 of Reboot. That could be. I don't know. Have you seen season 3?
I've seen all of Reboot, yes. And you're just obsessed with the big titty chick that follows Enzo around.
Look, Andrea is a fucking goddess. You will worship the bitch. Right? Anyway, I'm talking about adult Andrea. Don't get taken out of context. I'm not talking about kid Andrea from the start of season 2. Fuck you. Fucking not you, Brock. It's anyone else who's gonna mind this shit.
There's a few fucking people in the chat that will probably go that way.
They're probably. I don't know. Who cares? Yeah. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, fuck you. Season 3 was better than Voltron.
I don't think you are referring to the same fucking show as me. I don't think you're talking about the same goddamn show as me.
I probably am because I've seen pretty much most of Voltron.
of the continuation show that I'm talking about.
Sorry about that. All right, so we want to talk about She-Ra now. We're talking about Voltron. Hey, Darnell, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. went quiet there. I got worried.
Well, in regards to the She-Ra stuff, I'm basically going to say the same thing that I've been kind of saying this entire time. Make your own shit, people. Stop taking my things, transforming it, and saying I improved on what I apparently liked but didn't like. Fuck you. Stop fucking taking class. Get your original fucking ideas. You want a She-Ra-like show? Create your own She-Ra-like show. Not She-Ra. This, whatever the She-Man, this crap is. You need to fuck off with it, all right? I'm sick and tired of it. Thundercats, Roar, She-Ra. Next, it's going to be androgynistic fucking He-Man. They're actually going to take that extra leap and go, no, we're going to actually make a girly man version of He-Man.
Or either that or he's going to be gay as fuck. Like, even more than everybody suspected Prince Adam might be.
Did you guys see that toy that came out? The actual laughing Prince Adam toy from the meme?
Let's be honest, though.
No.
Prince Adam's pretty gay.
I don't know about that, but yeah, he's there's a toy about that. I was convinced for the longest time that this was that the She-Ra thing was the person's trans, where it's actually a boy who pulls out the sword and becomes She-Ra. Yeah, I thought for the longest time that's totally what they're gonna do. That would explain
it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, that it would have explained the very masculine tone of the body and everything, but no, it's actually is a girl who's apparently 16.
And that's another thing. People have been were like, "But the character's 16." I'm like, bitch, if He-Man and She-Ra were originally 16, they have some serious hormone problems going on in the milk there.
Oh yeah,
Jesus Christ! Look at the motherfuckers.
God, man, He-Man is swole as fuck. Even as Prince Adam, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Prince Adam works. Dude, I don't know what he's lifting, but Jesus Christ.
Like Prince Adam's an absolute pansy, but he is swole as fuck.
That's actually, I do have to point out, though, the original version of She-Ra and He-Man, because they are twins, they are not 16.
Oh, clearly not.
No, it's not even a question of, whether they were or were not. They weren't, in the show, 16 years old. The reason being is because the FCC would have never fucking allowed He-Man, of all shows, to be a show about a fucking 16-year-old that looks like that, does the things that he does, as homoerotic as it clearly was, and just let it happen. Yeah, I understand it was the 80s and they didn't follow a lot of rules and stuff, but when it came to animated shows, there were very specific rules the FCC would not have allowed. And that show ran on for several seasons. So for you to sit there and tell me, well, she's 16 years old. In the original telling, no, she was a full-grown fucking adult. I think the youngest they would have allowed those two to be was actually 21. So you need to shut your fucking whore mouth, you stupid cunt. You're rewriting the goddamn story.
Well, and the other thing is, like, for anyone who is like criticizing and all that about the characters, they tend to say like, well, the only reason you're criticizing is because you want to sexualize She-Ra, and you're trying to sexualize a 16-year-old girl. How creepy is that?
Like, I love that that's the first place they want to go. So I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
These are the same people that will continue to idolize shows like Sailor Moon. It's the show that really
that queer kid stuff shit. But no.
The reason I'm getting at that is one, Sailor Moon is one of those shows that just so happened to actually launch the shoujo genre
in a way that actually made it almost completely comparable to the shonen genre. Basically, what we're seeing is instead of a team of boys beating the shit out of each other, it's actually teams of girls beating the shit out of each other. That's the difference between shonen and shoujo. Aside from that, it also launched the magical girl genre to a fucking height that I don't think even Japan was quite prepared for.
Here in the U.S., it was relatively unknown. I mean, it's older than Sailor Moon, but the popularity is just fucking yeah.
Well, the whole magical girl genre had existed for a few years before Sailor Moon, and so did the shoujo genre. The only difference is that it was Sailor Moon specifically that made those two genres so fucking popular that they just exploded overnight in both Japan and America. It was fucking insane. Now, here's the thing that I'm getting at. These same creators will sit there and idolize shows like Sailor Moon and completely ignore the fact that a woman, I'm not shitting you, a woman is the original creator of Sailor Moon.
Oh, yeah.
The writer, the inker, the artist, all of that stuff. A woman in Japan created everything Sailor Moon, and she went the route of sexualizing the shit out of a team of 13-year-old girls. And they worship this fucking show. A show sexualizing the fuck out of a team of 5, sometimes even 7 women who are 3 years at the least younger than their current fucking new female lead protagonist, She-Ra. And they're going to sit there and bitch at us and say, you're just trying to sexualize a 16-year-old girl. You idolize a show that sexualizes 13-year-old girls. What's your next move, you fucking bitch?
Well, I mean, you have to understand, Brock, because that requires context. And
Right.
we all know that context doesn't matter.
They really don't care about context.
The thing is that what they read is like, you know, we complain that, hey, she's not an attractive woman, she looks like a boy, and the first thing their brain goes to is, oh, it's because she's not sexy. I'm like, bitch, please, you're the one that brought sex into this, not me. We're talking about beauty, and yes, she the original She-Ra is rocking a great pair of tits. I'm not gonna lie. In the same way that I'm pretty sure that He-Man is a straight girl and gay man fat material. Fine, that's fine because they're fucking grown-ups. It's fine.
Yeah, even her rival Evil Lyn was extremely hot.
Oh, yeah, He-Man. Yeah, that He-Man's nemesis, one of the Skeletor minions, Evil Lyn. What but the sorcerer, the dark sorcerer from She-Ra. What the fuck was her name?
Evil Lyn. She takes over in She-Ra.
Was from He-Man.
No, I know Evil Lyn was from He-Man, but I could have swore She-Ra is the story where Evil Lyn leaves Skeletor, and she actually becomes the new big. You know what? I'm gonna look it up now because I may be fucking with my own goddamn lord.
I'm sorry. I'm hitting the He-Man wiki, or the Wiki Grayskull right now.
Wiki Grayskull. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's the He-Man universe wiki. So let's see here. Females. Shadow Weaver. That was the bad girl from
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, doesn't fucking matter.
Let me pull up a picture of Shadow Weaver. I guarantee you they're gonna do some shit to her because that bitch is rocking a skin tight robe. You can see her boobs and her hips, for fuck's sake. Holy shit!
More One Piece swimsuit, so yeah.
Oh
obviously
my god!
Things. No, what bugs the shit out of me is actually when it comes to the She-Ra stuff, when it comes to the Thundercats Roar stuff, almost any time they have taken one of our things from the 80s, and somebody actually brought up a point that I will get to in just a minute. But whenever they actually take these properties and they change them this drastically, and we end up complaining, all I consistently see from these complaints, or at least not from our side of the complaints, but their side of the complaints, the people that are trying to defend these shitty pieces of work, all they keep doing is strawmanning the fuck out of every one of the argument points. You're just trying to sexualize a 16-year-old girl. I didn't bring any of that up. I said it doesn't look like a girl. It looks like a boy. Why are you fucking trying to sexualize a 16-year-old boy? You sick bitch.
That's what my problem throughout most of these arguments has been. There was even somebody who actually tweeted out something. 1985, She-Ra sucks, and then it's every consecutive year following after that, all the way to 2018. They ruined She-Ra. Yeah, a lot of people thought She-Ra sucked, which is why it only got 2 seasons worth of a fucking show compared to the 4 seasons that He-Man got. A lot of people considered it to be terrible, but then again, let's be honest, the 1980s had a fuckload of cartoons that were not meant to be good cartoons. They were just meant to entertain kids and convince the parents to buy the fucking toys to shut the fucking kids up. That's what She-Ra was too.
Well, another thing about this is the height of the period where He-Man hit his height and finally petered out. I think She-Ra, if I remember correctly, came out like 2 years into He-Man's run. So both shows petered out around the same time.
Yeah. They actually died about the same time Thundercats did as well, because Thundercats came out in 84.
And then somehow Silverhawks lasted for a lot longer. Fuck that show.
Well, that's because once the creators of Thundercats were done with fucking Silverhawks, with Thundercats, they eventually moved on to Silverhawks. And then when Silverhawks actually had its relatively decent run, they eventually had to move over to their fucking their aquatic shark show.
Oh,
the one that, Magnus is actually, he's the one who reminded me that there was a third version of the Trinity, land, sky, and sea, and that's what those creators did. They started with the land characters with the Thundercats, then they jumped into the Silverhawks in space, and obviously, you know, they're part human, part machine, and all that stuff, which makes for
partly human, part machine. God damn it!
And then you had the shark one, but it wasn't fully sharks, because there was a female character in the show that wasn't a shark. She was actually a squid or an octopus, something like that. And Magnus and I talked offline a couple of times about this particular show, and that sick bastard found sexualized versions of these characters, and I'm like,
Okay, well, it's Rule 34. But by the way, but if you want, I can sing the Silverhawks theme song. I found
that's all right.
Come on,
don't do it.
You know,
don't you?
You know, you want me to.
No, I don't need a nostalgia trip that's gonna fucking make me go nuts right now. That's fine.
I want to make you feel the way the show made me feel.
But somebody brought up an interesting point when it came to something. Oh, it was Billy Senpai. Brockus, there's no good idea, so they have to rob our childhood for ideas now. Well, let me explain how this actually works. There hasn't been an original idea for decades now. I think the 1980s and probably the very early 90s was the very last part of our history where we actually did come up with completely original ideas.
I would be devil's advocate to that for a couple of reasons. I think we mentioned this before the show started, but you know, the biggest complaint about it, like I said, if this little, you know, gender confused twink lesbian wants to have a show where she's got a boyish girl doing lesbian adventures with all of her girlfriends and fighting evil, go right ahead. Rebecca, I don't know my goddamn gender anymore. Sugar did the same fucking thing, and look how popular that show is. People love Steven Universe. You know why? It's decent. I'm not a fan, but I know lots of people that are. You know what? Fuck it. They like the show, fine, and it is as gender confused as you can get. And the hero is this fat little lump who has no, you know, who likes pink and has no idea what the hell's going on. Fine, what the fuck ever. I don't care.
Leave Darnell out of this.
And it's fairly. I mean, the other thing is, you know, you got to give it props because it's relatively original. I mean, you can pick it apart and say, oh, it's just like this or oh, it's just like that. But let's face it, it's pretty out there for a concept. It's pretty original.
That's fine. You could play devil's advocate because I was going to do the exact same thing. I was actually trying to get to the whole. There really is no such thing as an original idea anymore. All it is taking something that already exists, but spinning it enough to make it your own. In other words, if you wanted a She-Ra-like TV show, go right ahead and create something that will cause a lot of people to go, you know, this kind of reminds me of She-Ra. Yeah. I actually missed that show. I think I'm going to go binge watch the fuck out of it when this season's over. Yeah. Shit like that. That's what you do. You don't take the actual property, completely rearrange it, and then fucking present it to the world and say, enjoy my new thing. This is why shows like the fucking Thundercats reboot don't do so well. This is why the continuation one season of Voltron didn't do so well. This is why the Netflix Voltron surprisingly isn't doing well, but is at the same time, it is very confusing. But then again, I don't think they planned that it was actually going to do well after season 2.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I mean, even this is one of the arguments I made because, you know, like Dave Cullen gave this impassioned argument that, you know, that copyright laws shouldn't exist so long so people can do things, you know, like the he was talking about the Star Trek fan shows that got shut down. I'm like, listen here, motherfucker, 2 things. One, the last thing we need is people trying to remake stuff that are right on the coattails of stuff that the nostalgia thing, because we've already got that shit happening, and look what they're doing. But here's the thing: you can do that. I mean, the Orville is literally Star Trek with all the serial numbers filed off, and people fucking love it. We've got an official property, which is some idiots trying to who've got the license to redo another Star Trek show, and it's fucking terrible. My argument is that if the idea they've got for a show isn't good enough, that it needs to hug on an existing property like Stargate Universe was a good example of a show that was shoehorned into Stargate because they couldn't sell it to the network on its own, and the network was right because it was a shit show. If your property that you want to do isn't good enough to stand on its own and you have to stand on the shoulders of an existing property to sell this shit, get the fuck out. Your show's no good. It sucks. Come back when you can write something decent.
I think what some of the things that have gone on here, because it was Ethan Van Sciver, I listened to one of the streams he was on, and he may have mentioned that these people don't have to remake anything. Because when you have shows like Steven Universe and Gravity Falls and like original shows, they're doing really, really well.
Yeah,
they sell well. The merchandise still goes well. Steven Universe is still going strong and all that. They don't have to remake anything. And yeah, there we go. That's a cool little.
This is actually an artist redesign of Shadow Weaver. To be honest, I think what they did was they just took one of the pictures and the stills of her, simply traced the basic design and then added their detailing to it, which is fucking awesome because this is the actual version.
Oh my god, look at them titties.
She's sad. And yes, as Red Robot pointed out, the damn dress is so tight, you see the curvatures and details of her fucking entire torso.
And if you less detailed, she's got this hourglass figure, and I'm just like, hubba, I've never wanted to be evil so bad.
Right. Sometimes,
and if by chance she's not terribly attractive in the face, she comes with her own sack.
Sometimes there are just those female villains that make you go, you know what? I think being evil is probably the right call at this point.
Exactly. I've got a boner for evil, and it's fine.
But yeah, I was just gonna say, like, these people don't need to take over a fandom. They don't need to redo Thundercats. They don't need to redo She-Ra. They're doing this for other reasons, and those reasons are nefarious. They're trying to send a message to all those nerd boys and all the kinds of the people that are out there saying that nothing is sacred. They can take anything they want, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's the idea. Like this She-Ra show, it isn't going to get past season 1. And if it does by some bizarre means, it still won't last after that. Same thing with this Thundercats show. It's practically dead on arrival. They are doing this just to send the message that nothing we love is safe. They can take over anything and everything. They've done it to comics. They've done it to different other kinds of cartoons, and it sounds like they're doing it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I don't get Keijo season 2 because of these pieces of shit.
Exactly, you don't get Keijo. The manga's still going. Well, no, I think they had to cancel. It's an anime.
It's a fucking great anime. It's sports with just a bunch of hot chicks. At least one overly lesbian character. Seriously, they've got to at least throw one in. But it's a sport about girls.
I'm a Yuri fan. I'm good for that.
No,
I will say,
but the girls are just bumping each other's tits and ass against each other because it's like sumo wrestling on water for fucking chicks in swimsuits, and it's It's the greatest goddamn thing I think I've seen in a long time with anime. I needed a brain scrub after Darling in the Franxx, and I'm glad I decided to watch Keijo.
I think Keijo was also designed as a response to the other anime that was popular at the time that all the girls are swooning over called Free.
Oh, I watched Free as well. I watched that a couple months back, and I got to say, damn, that is a fucking awesome show. Not gonna lie. It was really well. It was incredibly well written, fantastically drawn out and animated and everything like that. Dude, they even have a super pervy fucking chick who's clearly super pervy, but they don't go overboard with it where she's basically just grabbing and groping every fucking guy like some of the lesbians do in like the fucking, like basically there's a blonde chick in Keijo. Every time she sees a new hot chick, she's just got to touch her. She's got to molest her. She's got to fucking hit on her and shit. And it's just like, The other chick in Free, though, she is obsessed with men with muscles and swimmers specifically. And dude, like the way she goes about it is fucking so brilliantly done. She convinces people to allow a muscle contest during a fucking swim meet.
Oh, nice. So here's the twist. We probably won't talk too much on Free because not all of us watch it. But here's the twist on Free. It's because a lot of these have these little catches. It's like it's a sports anime, but with a twist. Here's the twist with Free, in case anyone hasn't figured it out yet. Because I mean, some people don't really think about it. The twist is this: these aren't actually men; these are women. Oh. But it's drawn with men characters and men voice actors. These are female characters. Oh. Everything they say, do, and talk about, and obsess over, even though it's all about the sports related stuff, it's just women. This is how women argue. This is how women behave. This is how women act. This is a show. This is a show that stars women, but they've gender swapped them, and that it's actually men, but it's still women.
Actually, that's part of the joke. The four main guys, including at least three other main characters, supporting role characters that you do. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The five main characters plus three supporting role members are actually guys who have names that actually in Japan are unisex names, except they're the equivalent of hearing about a guy here in the West. A guy named Kelly, a guy named Stacy, a guy named Ashley. Basically, it's their version of that. All of their names are unisex names, but they're girly versions on guys. So one of them's name is Reen. Another one's name is oh god damn it. It's Mokoto? Something like that. I forget. But basically they're guys with unisex names, but these are names you typically only see women actually having and stuff. And then there's the twist. Rin Matsuoka has a sister who's just, I think, a year younger than him. Her name is Go Matsuoka. Go is another unisex name, but it's typically a guy's name. So that's the actual spin, is the one female lead character is actually sporting a guy's name, and she keeps telling people her name is Ko, but there's another dude who keeps saying, no, it's Go, because it's spelled with a fucking G, and it's like, it's fucking funny. But that's part of the actual joke. Otherwise, yes, Samaj is actually hitting it right on the nail. This is how a show about chicks who just so happen to actually be guys. It's not trans anything. It's not really gender swapped. It's just they took female character traits, put them into male characters, and basically gave us a show, and it's fucking good.
If you say so. I can only tolerate the first season. It's pretty, to me, it's a terrible show, but that's just my opinion.
You son of a bitch, Free is amazing. It made me want to go swimming again. I haven't swam in years.
I'll be honest. I saw the
Marcus,
trailer.
You wouldn't even be able to float.
I float, but we all float down here.
We all float down here.
When I saw the trailer for the show, it's because it took me a while because they had the Japanese trailer that came out first. I thought it was an ad for water because they had water bottles in there and all that, and I thought, oh, is this the new Discernia ad or something for bottled water in Japan? What?
I said Samaj is getting thirsty now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm pretty goddamn there. I'm probably gonna go get a bottle of water actually right now. So Clausen, Lord of Virulence asked, "Is this Mortal Kombat between the weebs?" Kind of, because as much as I love Free and Keijo, I think Free was a better written show. Keijo, I had a few questions of. There were just some character tropes that were unnecessary, but hey, whatever.
I don't know. I thought that Free was just sort of a nonsense rom-com about gay guys. But as for Keijo, it's obviously a show for guys, but I think it's a much more action oriented, and it's definitely silly, but it embraces it. You know what you're getting with a show like Keijo. It's
There's a chick who fires beams out of her tits, bro.
Yeah.
There's nothing realistic about this show, and I fucking loved every second of it.
If you listen closely to the sound effects, they have like fart sound effects.
Oh, it's only with one character though. Whenever they go by the boxing standards. You know how the boxing is in-fighter, out-fighter, and then slugger? Yeah. Well, for them, they have in-fighter, out-fighter, and counter, because the ladies have to counter people's attacks and stuff. One of the best counters in the story is a big-assed, big-tittied, redheaded Southern girl from America, I think. Or maybe she's supposed to be Southern Japan. Who knows? And her ass is like a fucking human marshmallow, which is like the best counter in story, because anytime somebody tries to take their rock-hard ass against it, it just creates this strange vacuum and then immediately bounces it back, and it's fucking hilarious. I loved that scene. But then on her same team, there's a small chick who, when she discovers giving herself a fucking wedgie and exposing her ass entirely to people, allows her to move faster. Every time she moves, it's a fucking sonic fart. All you hear is and it's just, I couldn't stop fucking laughing anytime she fought and did that sound effect. I'm just like, oh dear God. Okay.
It's not a show that you take in serious. I even distinctly remember like it's some characters can essentially summon demons or something, like wolves and snakes from their asses. Like,
one of them literally has a move called Cerberus, which she calls Serbi, and it's just a holographic energy wolf's head that comes off of her ass that eventually can transfer to her tits.
And all she really does is she just uses like the muscles in her ass to hold on to grab parts of the other girls and then knock them off. I'm like, the fuck am I watching?
Dude, the fact that their ass and tits grab onto things like they do in the show just makes it that much better. It's like the show was made for us, Samaj. Oh, and here's the best part. There's no nip. You don't ever actually see legitimate animated nipple or anything like that, because the show, as filthy and dirty as it is, I think the animators and writers were all just like, maybe we don't got to take that extra step forward. Maybe we just have, pieces of hair or clothing or some object in the foreground just cleverly put there to cover up the nips and pussy. Also, the only time you're going to see ass definition is when somebody gives themselves a wedgie or they're wearing the suits in general.
Exactly. There you go. So we should probably move on because no one else here knows what we're talking about.
True. Very true. But I'm pretty sure Darnell is now looking up his new folder material for his Spank Bank.
I'm playing Stellaris.
I figured I could hear you clicking. That's why you haven't been talking so much. Why the hell did we invite you?
No, because you guys pretty sure came to talk to me about the James Gunn situation. Now you're talking about fucking anime and ass crap.
Oh, yeah. They gave away the thing we're building up to. We're trying to have some levity before we talk about the depressing thing situation that is James Gunn that everyone else has talked about. We haven't mentioned it yet. We are going to. I guess we should talk about it, shouldn't we? Huh?
It's in the title of the goddamn stream. They knew it was coming.
Oh, I'm not. I don't have any control over that.
Oh, I thought you knew. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I just hit the. I just clicked the link. I don't know nothing.
They put it in the title of the damn stream.
Oh, and chat, if you're listening, I don't have the chat open. I'm currently drawing while we're yapping about stuff. So, sorry. I'm not purposely ignoring you. I've just been told that I have deadlines for tomorrow. So apparently, I have to double duty this shit. Anyway, so Brockus, you want to talk about it?
So I know absolutely nothing about James Gunn and what happened there. So I'm gonna kind of like step away from this one and give the mic to Darnell. Darnell, go ahead and say something that's relevant.
So apparently it was Mike Cernovich and a bunch of his followers that pretty much found these tweets that James Gunn did over 10 years ago, where he, like a lot of them you can tell are edgy jokes, and then a lot of them are just like, okay, even for edgy jokes, those are kind of going too far. But basically, it's Roseanne Barr 2.0.
Yeah, something like that. But the thing is, with Roseanne, she was under the influence of drugs and stuff of the like. James Gunn, this is just stuff he said long time ago when he was an edgy boy. And I think that's when he was working for a movie studio that was doing like horror movies or something at the time. Because that's when
this was in the time period where he was doing things like super and PG porn.
Yeah, and these were like, obviously stuff that's not really family friendly related things. So it's the kind of thing you expect someone in his situation to do. I know if you've ever followed any of these horror directors, like these like straight to DVD horror movie people, they just say a lot of edgy stuff to sell things. It's really par for the course. But I think because it was involving like James Gunn deleting a bunch of his tweets,
like over 10,000.
Yeah, 10,000 tweets.
Wow.
And some people went over those tweets because let's be honest, the internet never forgets, and they always find a way to find them.
So yeah, Red Robot actually sent a link in the side chat with some of these tweets, and
if I would do an adaptation of, I want to give Hollywood a favor and do an adaptation of The Giving Tree with the tree giving the boy a blowjob.
I'm not gonna lie, if I was actually an up and coming new name in Hollywood, and I had made tweets like this to this extreme and said some really fucked up things like I'm looking at, and they had eventually said, "You're fired." Why? Because we found your Twitter search. We found a lot of stuff on your Twitter. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I'll just pack my shit up and get the fuck out.
The Expendables are awesome. Come fuck this brown boy pussy.
It's so too much, man. It's just too much. I'm gonna go with something that's the most tame out of the shit that Robot had sent us. 3 men and a baby they had sex with. Hashtag unromantic movies.
To be
That's
fair,
the most tame.
That I gotta be honest with you. As far as like those moments on Twitter where people you basically do a horrible edgy joke, that's pretty good. That's pretty.
No. The best tame joke was the one where he says, "I don't know what the fuck Tracy Morgan is talking about. Sarah Palin does not have a fappable ass. That ass is fat." That is like the most tame thing I saw.
But here's the thing. There are some women out there who have an ass that somebody wants to fap to. Even Tess Holiday has guys fapping to her as we speak. So it's a fappable ass. It's not one that I'm going to fap to. But it's the porn star portraying her in various porn movies, Nailin' Palin. I'm going to fap the shit out of that one. I have already. But I see your point regardless, Darnell.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's what James Gunn said in a tweet. I'm saying that's the most tame.
Oh, that's the most.
Well, we're talking the most tame of the ones that are in this little picture thing that I found on Tumblr.
Yeah, because like he sent it's essentially a bunch of screen caps or screen grabs of James Gunn's Twitters, and they have been compiled together in one giant fucked up collage. And the most tame one out of the set that Red Robot had sent us, the link is on the side, I think was the 3 men and a baby they had sex with, hashtag unromantic movies. Yeah. That's pretty tame compared to the rest of the shit I'm seeing here, because some of them have been highlighted and they get worse than that.
Yeah, so let's see here.
I really want to go big game hunting, but I'm going to struggle between calling it big game hunting and calling it big rape hunting.
Let's see here. Let's see.
That's another one. That's not just me ranting.
I know I was listening to Monday Matt, and he was talking about some of this stuff, and I actually, for me, I'm because I'm all about like the freedom, free speech, and all that kind of stuff. I have to side with him. I mean, a lot of these are jokes.
Yeah,
these
they're
are
clearly jokes.
They're clearly jokes. He's not saying go out and do this stuff.
Yeah.
He's just making a joke. Yeah, it could be unfunny. Yeah, it's edgy boy nonsense. But I mean, he's not saying go out and do this stuff. He's not saying he went out and did this stuff.
So the one which is the fake preventing girls touching themselves one, that's weird.
That's weird, but I think that was also followed by
because it was a fake. It was a fake link, but still, that would be like even in real life. I would just looking at it like, what the fuck?
Well, it was I'm trying to remember because one of the things he had was the link to a video of I'm trying to remember what it was like girls singing that what's that song? I Touch Myself or something.
That's it because that's the because it says preventing girls touching themselves, but then the link is actually to that video.
Yeah. So I mean that's kind of a joke, and there again, I'm having a hard time seeing a problem here. And on top of all that, this is really old stuff.
Yeah,
I mean really old stuff. He like I didn't know about James Gunn until Guardians of the Galaxy because I never really watched any of his other stuff. I wouldn't have known any of this until today. All right. And I will continue to have not known any of this if something happens. But I remember hearing that part of the reason this got brought up is because he started going on a tirade on Donald Trump, as most liberal director people tend to do. And who was it who dug up all these tweets?
Mike Cernovich.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I heard that he did that after James Gunn went on the anti-Trump stuff. And this does make me feel uncomfortable. I don't think that, I don't like people who hate on Donald Trump just because he's a president and whatever. But at the same time, I don't want that to be an excuse to take up someone's history to get them fired. It doesn't make us look good, is what I'm trying to say.
No. I think
I just read one.
I think the only thing humorous about this is that this is one of those where, we warned these people that this sort of witch hunt thing would bite them in the ass, and I'm like, this is their own petard. This is the standard they set, and we warned them, don't do this, because all this shit, as far as I can tell, a lot of it's gross. You know me. If any of you follow me on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. I am almost unafraid of making any joke. This shit is too far even for me, but it's still a fucking joke. It's like Mr. Medicare got a directorial job.
So
I just say one thing though.
Go ahead.
I found this at 5 a.m, and I was just watching this. I was just what the fuck? I don't know the extreme context, and I'm tired. So I did the tweet literally saying, I'm not going to do any major judgments, but I do have one joke to say. Slow your roll there, Roman Polanski. That's it. I just want to reference the fact that I made that joke, and you can see the timestamp for it.
One of the fair enough. One of the things that James Gunn had apparently tweeted out. I'm doing a big Hollywood film adaptation of The Giving Tree with a happy ending. The tree grows back and gives the kid a blowjob. I don't. It's fucked up because he said the kid, which is wrong. It's actually an adult at that point, but still, it's fucking hilarious to me because it's like you took a cherished childhood story and fucking ruined it like a savage. I'm gonna give you a golf clap for that one. That was fucked up.
I mean, there's some fucked up jokes in here, and some of them are pretty funny. I'm just saying,
Well, and the other thing to think about is how fucking swift was Disney and Marvel for firing him. It was
Taylor.
Fast. They canned him and all that. He's done like professionally with Disney, and for all we know, this could have also ruined his career. He might not get work directing anything anymore because of all this stuff that has gone on. But it was fast, and they canned him also during Comic-Con of all things. He had a panel. He was going to be talking about this. He was already writing the script for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which he might not even.
I got communicated during Mecca. I'm sorry, but that just looks like the comparison that's just popped up in my head.
What?
I'm saying like he got fired during Comic-Con. That's like a Muslim getting excommunicated during Mecca.
In the middle of a prayer. Excuse me, Ahmad, you're not allowed in here anymore. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's like the worst possible time to get hosed.
Yeah, it's like wow. And I don't know. For some people, it might make them think because like really you gotta watch what you say when you work for Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me of a really funny scene from the Boondocks where one of the famous rappers in Boondocks is obviously a fictional character. He is not doing well. His albums are not selling, and so he eventually has to turn to various alternative ways to get money. So he decides to make and sell crack. A crackhead who is incredibly well dressed, but an obvious crackhead, also well spoken, walks up to him, buys a baggie of crack. Another crackhead walks up to him while a kid is actually there and recognizes the rap artist. And they're all talking about how his latest album sucked because it was all fucking auto-tune and it's shit and everything like that. But the crackhead who originally bought the crack first comes back and he demands his money back because the crack is not good. It's all burnt. It's kind of brownish and shit like that. And the other crackhead says, "Damn, I ain't even getting no crack from you, and you already getting returns." Okay, what the fuck just happened? I don't think there's an actual set of quality that crackheads demand when it comes to their fucking highly illegal drug. But all right,
is. No, there is. They have to. It has to be that is fucking smokable.
It's crack. Just smoke it, I guess. I don't know. Don't smoke crack, kids.
Bad for you.
Do meth instead. It'll get you where you need to go faster.
I don't even know you anymore, Brockus. Advertising this shit. What the fuck's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
They took away my season 2 of Keijo.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm still very salty about that. Like, I didn't even watch Keijo when I found out about it. And then, like, after so long of not watching it, I finally do. And I'm like, oh my God, I want a season 2. I want to know what happens. I now have to go and buy the manga.
On top of that show is very memeable. It's like, yeah. What's
on
up?
a related note, somebody on Twitter said that the way to rephrase somebody phrased the James Gunn thing as weaponizing the left's morality.
That's
basically
good.
weaponizing his SJW's attack politics against them.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, you can see that. I am kind of like upset with how this is going. Digging up someone's history and all this like that, it just feels ick. I know that it happens all the time, but I don't know. I'm nothing about this makes me happy. Also, I really love Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it's a great movie. At least the first one. The second one, not so much.
Yeah, the second one wasn't as good. It was like something about it just it didn't have I think it was pacing.
I think that the problem with the first Guardians, or rather the second one, is that it got too big, and then the Marvel committee came in saying, "Hey, we need it to really sell more to the kids. Can you put in some more jokes?" And it became a joke fest, and it's actually the same thing with Thor Ragnarok. It was just a huge joke fest. It was like,
for me, it's almost the opposite. I think it has the similar, like, same veins as joke as the first movie. Only difference is that whereas the first jokes were more like, okay, here's the big payoff. Like the second movie, all the jokes literally like first 5 seconds, and then they just repeat it, like the fruit being ripe thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I said, I think jokes were the problem. It just became.
It had issues.
Yeah. And it was also the big issue with Thor Ragnarok as well. Not saying that these are bad movies. I just like stop it with the jokes.
Too much emphasis on the funny.
Yeah, actually, that is an interesting point because a while ago I started making these really ragey fucking complaints about bad writing because it started with the CW's shows of Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow that caused me to start like really losing my shit on bad writing. But the more I thought about the bad writing for the CW shows, the more I started seeing it almost everywhere. And I'm not counting at this point, like, you know, the Star Wars movies with their bad writing and shit and their horrible fucking garbage and stuff. But I started seeing it almost everywhere. Well, it's not so much I started seeing it and like, you know, oh my God, that's bad writing. Oh my God, that. No, it's just I was no longer blind to it. Like there was a veil completely ripped off of my face instead of having only one eye that could see the truth and one eye that actually saw, you know, a fantasy and all that shit. It was now both eyes were seeing the truth. And I had started noticing the MCU movies, when it comes to the individual movies, has been dwindling in its amazing writing. Yeah. Because when I'm comparing the origin movie, well, not necessarily an origin movie, but the first movie installment for an individual hero, such as like Black Panther or Spider-Man, and I have to compare it to a 10-year-old movie and say that the 10-year-old movie is actually still way better and superior in its writing and storytelling than this one, but that's wrong because it should get progressively better. It starts to make me think, what is going on over at Marvel Studios? I think the writing is getting worse. As the political climate is getting worse, so is the writing in some of our favorite franchises. There are anime shows out there that was supposed to be the saviors of certain genres, even though they didn't need saving to begin with. And they ended up being complete horseshit. There are comic books out there that were supposed to change the way we actually, you know, felt about comic books. It had the exact opposite effect. It caused us to get really pissed off, but it was, you know, bad. It wasn't like, you know, why wasn't I getting this entire time? You know, this is mediocre writing from the past in comparison to this. No, now it's just propaganda everywhere. It's becoming propagandized almost everywhere I look. Even Thor Ragnarok, I could fucking find the SJW shit in that one. But I bet you I could. And that was just a fucking gigantic movie of dick and fart jokes.
Yeah. Well, and there is we can tell that the movies are going in a very social justice way, just because I've been hearing a lot of bad things in regards to Captain Marvel or Carol Manvers.
Yeah.
But I think I recently found out about the budget. Because in most of these Marvel movies, they take about maybe like $200 to $300 million to make, and they almost always guaranteed to make that money back. Well, apparently, Captain Marvel has a budget of $10 million. That's there are low budget, like Kevin Smith movies have been made with 10,000 or 10 million. All right, and his movies are fairly low budget. So a Captain Marvel movie with 10 million, that's a red flag. And on top of all that, we should have gotten a trailer by now. Oh, so I don't know. There's some things that are not really making a lot of sense.
Oh, you know what's even better about that? And let me go ahead and throw a little bit of extra salt onto this fucking salty ass burger that we've just given to the audience. It turns out the lead actress for Captain Marvel, the one who's playing Carol Manvers, she despises the movie she just got done wrapping up. She hated everything about that movie. Apparently, she actually had gone to social media multiple times while filming and was pissed off the whole time. She would make complaints on Twitter. She would make complaints on Instagram. She would make complaints on Facebook, stuff like that. She went to social media and basically let the whole world know she hated the movie she was filming.
Captain Marvel?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
Oh, it's not a good sign at all, because if this actress is going to sit there and actually tell the world
I hate this fucking movie. I hate this fucking movie. And then, of course, on the day of wrap up, she actually tweets out, wrapped up filming Captain Marvel, feeling good, all that stuff. But and then you see the expression on her face, and it's like, oh my God, she's dead inside. And the movie has a lower budget than most of the MCU movies. It's just like there aren't just red flags thrown on the field, Samaj. There's a fucking red flag for the giant goddamn hole in the middle of the field right now.
There's something like that going on. But yeah, there was all these other incidents going on. Apparently, there's rumors on set that things are. And let me tell you, the rumors. Part of the reason they get out is because of people who are working on set at that particular moment, and it's because there are studios out there, not studios. There's news groups out there who are willing to pay good money to get insider information. And so it's very likely that if anyone's willing to spill the beans and say anything negative, they'll gladly do it. And then if that if that information turns out to be true and all that kind of stuff later on, because you have to wait for them to get confirmed because of rumors and whatever, they probably will make more money. So they get, because they might get like a bonus or something. Who knows if the information's accurate? So there's a good chance that a lot of this information is accurate, a fairly good chance. And Brie Larson, the actress who plays Captain Marvel, she's been on a very bad tirade lately. I think even Kevin Feige had to ring her in after the comment about how like this isn't a movie for 30-year-old white men, or was it 40-year-old white men or something like that. That's not a good thing to say, considering that's the majority of the audience that goes in to see these movies.
This is not a movie for the AIM demographic. Wait, what?
And we're also the motherfuckers with the money.
Yeah.
You do not want to. It's like a teen rom-com trying to piss off all the women. Very young women. It's like no. Those are the motherfuckers who are going to go see your goddamn movie. You dumb son of a bitches. Didn't you guys learn anything from Ghostbusters? Because it's not our complaints that you should worry about. It's us staying the fuck home with our wallets that should concern you.
If you are a 14-year-old girl, don't go and see Twilight in theaters. This movie's not for you. Wait, what? Who the fuck is it for then?
For the 40-something women who are drooling over men young enough to be their sons.
Dude, I still laugh every fucking time I see those memes where somebody has taken pictures of all of the middle-aged moms standing outside of the movie theaters for opening night of like a Twilight movie and shit with posters that say things like "fuck me, Edward" or "I want to lick cheese off of Jacob's stomach" or some shit like that, right? Mind you, at the time, Taylor Lautner was still dangling around the age of 16 and 17 years old when that movie started fucking filming. But yeah, so this shit was going on, and like the characters are also supposed to be about the same. Like I think Patton Robertson was the only one who was actually a fucking adult who was playing a teen. Everybody else was like a teen playing a teen. But either way, the flavor text for the meme is if these were middle-aged men screaming about a movie with fucking underage teen girls fighting each other, somebody would have called the police.
Yeah, somebody would be calling. What was it? Jim Walsh or John Walsh or what the fuck was his name?
Jim Hansen? No, Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen. Yeah, they'd be calling Chris Hansen, going, "Hey, time to sit down, boys." And you know what? I kind of see. Here's the thing. I kind of want to say, you know what? Well, it's a conversation I had like a good 12 years ago. This gives you an idea how long ago this was. My wife and I are sitting at the ass end like 3 a.m. at an anime convention. So it's Saturday night. It's 3 a.m. The place is fucking dead except for the complete graveyard shift of weeaboos who are up or up. And this is, oh God, this may have been 13 years ago. Okay. So we were sitting there talking about how about the fans and stuff. And these two girls that we're talking to are gay as fuck. I mean, it's like, but they were chills. Because here was the thing. So we were sitting there talking about the fandom and stuff. And I said, Jesus Christ, and I cracked something about Jesus Christ. The Yowie bunnies are everywhere, and for those who don't know, these are basically the girls who are giant fans of the homoerotic anime stuff. So I call them Yowie bunnies. And that used to be a popular term for them. Now they're just average everyday anime fans. Jesus Christ! But because you would go to like the dealers' rooms and the Yowie bunnies would be like all hovered around a table that just had a giant saying that said Yowie, come here for the Yowie stuff, and they had manga and all this. That's fine. And I was talking to them about that, because it had become a real big thing, and I was like, that's actually something I like. Because now I don't have to feel the slightest bit ashamed about being into Yuri. You still do, but I like that because especially when it's just the shoujo, just the romance stuff. Because the shy girl, cute romance thing is adorable, and I think it's funny as hell. So I enjoy that. It's amusing. Not so much the hentai; it's kind of boring. But the romance plots with it's fine. And these two lesbians are like, yeah, well, that's what we're into too. And I'm like going, yeah, I get that, but that's how they spelled it out. But I'd already figured that out just by looking at them. But I think about that now, and I realize really it's never really changed. You still are kind of some sort of scrubby, nasty dude if you're into that sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, so it's just discrimination. You should be used to it by now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
There's some weird shit out there. Just gotta say.
We sort of went off the topic of the Captain Marvel thing. I did also want to say I'm still very disappointed that we're getting the current day Captain Marvel, the Carol Danvers outfit. No one likes that outfit.
No, nobody does.
Yeah, but you have to remember, even though they have given us a variety of different outfits and costumes from like classic versions of Marvel costumes and stuff like that from other characters, Captain Marvel is one of those characters where, unfortunately, because it is Carol Danvers playing Captain Marvel, they have to go with the Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel costume. That is the unfortunate side effect of this this whole situation, which pisses me off because most likely, yeah, it's supposed to take place in the 90s, the Captain Marvel movie and everything. And it makes me wonder, well, are they going to have Marvel in the fucking movie? Because I haven't seen any. Oh, they are? Okay.
They are. Jude Law is supposed to play Marvel.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad.
Yeah,
because here's my entire point. Here's the way I would have done it, and because the whole plot of the movie is that it's supposed to be taking place during the Kree Skull War, and Nick Fury, Coulson, and Captain Marvel are stuck in the middle of it instead of the Avengers. So it's pretty much just that. It's like, oh fuck, you humans are gonna have to help us fight this war between these two aliens. Fine, just had it be that Carol Danvers. It's not Captain Marvel. She's Carol Danvers. She's just got the powers because she's been fucking this alien. And the actual character that's called Captain Marvel is Jude Law, the actual Captain Marvel. And then the ending of the movie is like, oh, he dies. Hey, you want to take his title? Sure.
That's actually kind of depressing because it took Carol Danvers 30 fucking years to even consider taking his title. And even then, it took another 15 fucking years after that to actually take the fucking title. So when I have to sit there knowing what I know about Captain Marvel and for them to condense the shit out of it into one movie, I'm a little salty.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, the fact that I'm not gonna get that for Captain Marvel movie is also it's also making me a little bit depressed. But at least it's like, at least this is a reason why, okay, you gotta streamline it this way.
I have to acknowledge something that Will Honorless has asked in the chat. Why is there a 12-year-old in the stream, Brockus? Samaj and I are babysitting. Nobody can watch Darnell.
Yeah.
Sorry, Darnell. I had to do the little jab.
It's okay. We'll buy you some new Legos.
Just don't do a James Gunn jab.
No, I'm not gonna go that far. God damn it.
Look, I swear, like I said, this isn't to the point of I don't know whether or not it's legit or not, but the fact that I can make Roman Polanski style jokes again, that makes me happy.
I don't think James Gunn's a pedophile. I don't. I think he made some edgy boy jokes, and now he's being punished for it.
Yeah, and that's the sad part about it is that, like, you know, James Gunn makes edgy boy jokes, and only, what is it, 6 years later, now everybody's got a problem with them.
Who was that guy who did America's Funniest Home Video way back when? And
Bob
he was
Saget.
Bob Saget. Bob Saget did some really, really edgy boy jokes. All right, he was a comedian before he became a TV star and a game show host and all that kind of stuff. Bob Saget did some really, really edgy shit, and he even told the people when they said, "Oh yeah, we want you to be on this family-friendly show," and he's like, "Are you sure? Have you seen my routines? Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm not going to stop the comedy." All right, and he didn't, but they still hired him. He didn't lose his job. He was given a job because he's a good, talented person in what he did. And in James Gunn's case, no. They, as soon as they find out, it's not like he kept it hidden. By the way, his Twitter account has been around for quite a long time,
since 2007.
Exactly. And so, I mean, and he has cleaned up his act. All right, he has. I mean, like during this whole time doing Guardians of the Galaxy, I didn't see him do any edgy boy anything. He was professional about that stuff, and he rolled it back down. So, like, what the fuck's the problem here? I don't see anyone make it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, it also reminds me of when the Bill Cosby thing happened, and like one of the big jokes of, like, you know, Bill Cosby used to rag on Eddie Murphy saying, "Oh, your jokes, you have to be more clean," blah 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 blah. Then look what ended up happening.
You cannot say "fuck" in front of people.
You cannot talk about blowing trannies, because that was an actual Eddie Murphy joke. And then it's like, but I can roofie these bitches all I want.
Don't use foul language in front of the people. However, I am going to offer several questionable cocktails to the people.
Well, look,
Yellow shots and knock you out of this world.
Well, Brockis, think about it like this. If a man rapes a woman in the woods and she's not awake to see it, is it really rape?
I don't want to answer this, Darnell. This is a question that no one should be able to answer, because it's such a loaded question. I don't know how anyone could look at it and not immediately think, all right, no, I'm not answering this. I think Samaj is contemplating it right now. Like, that's the fucked up part. I think Samaj is looking at his screen and then just like slowly looking away, like, huh, would it be considered rape?
I love that I just derailed it with just that alone.
I think everybody is shocked. Like, that is a really fucked up thing for you to say, Darnell. But
oh, please, that's tame for me.
That's true. That is very true. I've heard you make really fucked up gay jokes at other people's expense.
I've done fucking KKK jokes of me joining them.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and at several points throughout the country when we would have you on, you made horrible jokes at your roommate's expense. Never mind. Yes, continue. Be you.
I said nigger a few times.
I said the word a lot.
But mind you,
I'm pretty sure he was desensitized to me saying it by
context discussing it, but.
Well, also, I mean, like, I live in Canada, and so we need our pronouns, and I have to use my pronouns, so. Therefore, my pronoun is nigger.
You know how many Muppet memes of just them doing casual racism I show them throughout the course of a single day?
Oh. So.
I'll just tell you this. I legitimately did ruin Sesame Street for him.
What, your roommate?
Yes. Now he can't watch any image of Sesame Street without literally them wanting to torch or hang or lynch someone.
Why'd you do that, man? Sesame Street is pure. Not really.
Look,
I mean, the actual Sesame Street is scuzzy as fuck. But I mean, come on, man. Have a heart. Just let things be pure. Let people enjoy this stuff.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, Just I don't know. I'm
I'm not happy about the situation. Let's just say that. Of course, I'm not happy with the way things are going in general. Like, have you guys know Miss Marvel, right? Camilla Khan, Miss Marvel.
yeah. To which
Yeah.
I can give two fucks. I just
Yeah.
I've seen very little of it, so.
Well, okay, yeah. So like the Muslim Miss Marvel, whatever. They has been talked. They said that she is getting her own movie, that kind of stuff. Now, keep
I
this in
thought the
mind.
show.
Well, and that could be another thing, but also keep this in mind. Marvel has made announcements for other things in the past, and it hasn't happened. Inhumans was supposed to be a movie, and then ended up being a TV series. It's supposed to have multiple seasons, and it just disappeared. You don't talk about that anymore.
Damage Control was supposed to be a show as well.
That was supposed to be a show as well. Didn't happen. There were other shows. There was they were going to do like an X-Men TV show, because in the legal world of things, I mean, you could do an X-Men TV show and still call it the X-Men, so long as you just and then incorporate them in the movie, but just so long as you don't call them mutants or call them by their code names. So like if Cyclops shows up, you gotta call him Scott. You can't call him Cyclops. Which is easy enough. They could do that.
Well, Samaj, check Twitter.
Do I have to?
Yes.
What did you do? What did you do, Darnell?
No, look, Brockis knows what the fucking Sesame Street memes I use, so don't even be surprised.
Yeah. I thought I had actually saved it to my fucking computer, but I guess I didn't.
Oh, the African American alphabet one?
Yes.
I can send that again if you want.
Yes, send it to me again.
What did you do, Darnell? What the fuck did you do? Where's your humanity, Darnell? God damn it.
Oh, it was lost a long time ago.
God damn it. So how about that Thundercats roar, huh?
I will
Oh,
fucking
God.
kill you. Don't talk about that.
I love the fact that he has to fucking talk about Thundercats roar in order to just bypass what I showed him.
I'm screenshotting it, but also it came up in my head because I remember the thumbnail I did that Brock was using an avatar. Huh?
Lord.
Oh boy. So yeah, I also I've been hearing that Ant-Man and the Wasp. Well, it is a successful movie. It hasn't grossed as much money as they thought it would, and it from what it sounds like, it's actually because of the Wasp part.
Really?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, so.
Well, part of the problem is that when you introduce new characters, you do need to introduce them gradually. And I thought they did do it gradually, but apparently not enough, because you can't just I don't know how to describe this, but Ant-Man did fairly well. It was not their biggest Marvel movie by far, but it did okay. But Ant-Man and the Wasp as far as currently as when I checked in, didn't quite make it as much money as the first one. And it sounds like people aren't responding to the Wasp. And now I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna go see it tomorrow because remember I just got back from holidays, so I don't know if you guys have seen Ant-Man yet. So
No,
I usually wait till the theaters are empty before I go see movies now.
oh really?
Is
You
it
want?
because you don't want to hear the fucking kids?
Well, not just the kids, just the people in general. I just like the idea of being able to like put my feet up against the other chairs and make fun of the movie if I like it.
Oh, you like to be a cunt. Gotcha.
No, I like to be what fucking Red Robot based his entire channel on and do Mystery Science Theater.
Well, I know. I hear put your feet up. So every now and then, when I find bits of like crud and mud and stuff on the seat, it's people like you. Fuck you.
I don't
Darnell.
wear shoes.
Fuck. Oh, that makes it worse. You dirty, grubby, gout gauging. Oh, gross.
I wash my feet.
Wear shoes like a man. Sorry, I'm being an ass. I'm just feeling it. Broncos, what are you doing?
I'm wondering what life is.
I just sent him the African American alphabet. I also sent it to you too, Samaj.
Oh God, Darnell, what's wrong with you?
Show it to the audience.
I'm saving this in my meme folder.
You have a meme
All
folder.
right. Well, I'm gonna run off to the recharge station and stuff. So I'll see
No,
you
but
guys
Red, you have to see this.
Okay.
I'm presenting it in case you want to see it.
Someone wants to read it out
We
loud.
got cotton picker, darkness, ebut, frostbite, gator bait, ham bone, inky, chicken. Oh my god, that's terrible.
I love how L is Lando.
Oh my. Oh my god. Okay,
You were
going
last
to
on
hell.
Jigaboo.
I'm going to hell for laughing at that, and I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Letters.
Nugger Drag, Orlando, Melon Johnny Nuke, Oil Slick, Porch Monkey, Quasi, Rockfish, Sambo, Tar Baby, Uncle Ben, Vanilla Gorilla, Woolhead, Xbox 3 Niggy, Yard Ape, and Sue Monkey. Now somebody wants to do Bert.
I'm dyslexic. Can't do it. Brockus.
Wait, what?
Do Bert. I already did Ernie.
The last paragraph.
I don't know what's more impressive, Ernie. The fact that there's a racial slur for black people beginning with every letter of the alphabet, or the fact that your back, you had your back turned and still named all the ones on that list.
Just imagine me presenting like dozens of memes of just stuff like that throughout an entire like 9-month period.
I have been tasked to send this to Will Honorless, and I will be sending it via DMs. I'm sorry. I will be tweeting it to him. Sure, I'm going to get hit with this pretty goddamn soon, but it's not like I've never been in Twitter jail before. And you have it, Will. You know, it's funny though, because earlier today, I found out that that Optic Decay is currently in Twitter jail for legitimately shit talking a pedophile and calling him out for being a pedophile.
Really?
Yeah.
You can get sent to Twitter jail just for that.
Yep, and I think it's because he followed it up with, "I attacked somebody's sexuality." Don't know how many times I have to tell this to you people. I don't give a fuck what the shrinks, the psychologist, the therapist, or any other goddamn person who fucking got a master's degree, a PhD, or even some sort of degree in the field of psychology. But pedophilia is not a sexuality. It never will be a sexuality in the minds of sane people, and that's because it is a mental disorder, a very fucked up mental disorder, one that no one should ever actually give into. You find kids attractive? Neuter yourself. You can either do chemical castration or literally take a knife to your fucking balls. I don't care. You're not allowed to breed anymore. You're not allowed to fucking have a sex drive. Get rid of it. Why? Because I don't need you fucking traumatizing an entire generation of fucking kids, you sick piece of shit. And for anyone who actually wants to get into the fucking the semantics about, well, if it's a teenager, it's actually hebephilia. I don't care. It's still an underage girl or boy. Fuck off. You need to fucking die.
Indeed.
But yeah, so the LGBT community is still trying to actually push for one of their P's, because there's already a P there, being pedophilia, and it's disgusting. And there actually have been, I think there is an actual state law. I'm not sure if it's an actual state law or if it's a federal law, but there is actually a law that has recently been passed here in America, or at least is going to be passed pretty soon, that actually says that pedophilia is no longer considered a mental disorder. And that disgusts me a great deal.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, then.
I don't understand how hard of a concept that is. I don't. Fire is hot. Don't touch it. Pedophiles are evil. Don't let them do what they want to do. Duh. How is that? Was that wrong?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, I don't see.
Don't worry, Marcus.
the
I can
fucking-
send you something that'll make you feel better.
Is it another really fucked up joke, Darnell? Because you sometimes have the best ones. Sometimes you DM me shit you don't. I want you to never do, but then there are times where I'm just like, Darnell, you make me so happy.
Gotta be careful. It's a fine balance there, Darnell. Fine
Yeah.
balance.
And opening. I don't want to show it because of the context, but it's basically a dude shoving a pine cone in a chick's ass, and it's the writers. The guy has writers over his chest. The pine cone has gritty, dark edginess, and he's shoving it into the chick's ass with titans on her forehead. Wow. Darnell stepped up his game and said gold.
And with that, we should probably call her quits because, goddamn, not gonna top that.
Yeah, I don't know if we can top that. So yeah, go ahead and give a bit of the outro, and I'll go hit the fucking button.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. We had Red Robot, Darnell, Brockus, myself, and the Ghost of Schmeckel, who is probably dead from being hit by lightning or alcohol poisoning, or anything of the sort. It's quite possible. But thanks for watching, and we're done. Fuck off. Fuck off, Brockus. God damn. So Darnell.
I sent you the picture as well. Don't worry.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask